Hey guys, so I'm going to give you all a quick drawing tutorial right here on Instagram. This is a perspective drawing exercise that I like to do whenever I'm trying to train myself to think a little bit more three-dimensionally. So just kind of watch the rest of the video as I walk you through it. Okay, so basically this drawing exercise that I want to show you guys, it's called intersections, right? And this is a really good perspective drawing exercise for those of you who are going to, try to train yourselves to think a little bit more three-dimensionally and just want to improve your perspective drawing skills in general. So what I'm going to be drawing here is I'm going to be drawing a hexagonal prism being wedged into a cone. And basically what this does is it helps you to understand three-dimensional forms a lot better. So I'm just going ahead and I'm drawing the prism of the hexagon, and I'm not thinking too hard about horizon lines or vanishing points or anything like that. I'm just kind of going for it. So, sometimes you just got to remind yourselves that, especially when you're doing a quick drawing, just keep it light and sketchy. Don't think too technically about it. There's a time for slow and steady, and then there's a time to really just, pick up the pace and get a move on. Okay. So I've basically just drawn a rectangular prism, and I'm going to use this rectangular prism to construct the hexagon. So on both of these faces, the front and the back, I'm dividing it in half by using an X. So where that crosses, that's the center of those planes, right? So then what you want to do from there is you want to extend a line that travels sideways, and it's traveling with these lines, right? It's traveling to the vanishing point, going in that direction. And again, this is a quick sketch, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Quick sketches are really good practice for you guys to refine your line work. Try and focus on drawing that line in one go. And if it's not perfect, then don't stress. But the faster you draw, the faster you will learn. So notice the width between this line here and this point here. I'm basically just going to kind of double that, more or less. And same on the other side, like that. Okay, so there's that. I'm extending this back into perspective here onto this line that I drew. And that's going to help me construct the back part of the hexagon right there. So it's all about understanding the construction. There's different ways to do it. This is just one. Okay, so there's that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to just draw a cone that sort of intersects with the side. So coming down with a vertical line, then a horizontal line that crosses it somewhere. So in this case there. All right, and then I'm going to establish the base of the ellipse. Not thinking too hard about it. And again, when you're sketching quickly, don't obsess over how good your lines look. Don't obsess over the drawing. It's a quick sketch. It's meant to be done quickly. It's only meant to convey an idea. It's not really meant to be a finished drawing. So, you know, even if you're more of a technical drawer, you still need to loosen up from time to time, because this is how you learn quick. Okay, so I've got the hexagon in there, we've got the cone, and basically what I've done is I've sort of created a hologram, and they're sort of passing through each other in space. So then, what I want to do from there is I want to create another ellipse around here. So this is where the cone wedges into the top plane of the hexagonal prism, excuse me. As I follow that ellipse around, you can see that it hits the edge of that top plane right there. So that right there is the wedge. And same on this side. See where the ellipse curves and then it hits the edge of the top plane, where that plane changes from here to this angle here. It's doing the exact same thing. So that's the intersection. All right. And then what I'm going to do from this center of the ellipse there, it almost wedges into that edge. If I drag that back in perspective, I can find an intersection right there. And that's that point right there. So that's where the center of the ellipse wedges into that edge of the prism. And then so from there, what I want to do is, you see these angles traveling this way. Well, that's the next section that you have to draw. So you want to draw from the section of this ellipse here, you're going to draw that same angle that travels down the cone, like that. It's traveling with those angles. And then from this base of the cone, I'm going to draw the center section that travels vertically across the entire shape. Like so. And then I'm having a look at where this angle that I drew is interacting with this section. So I can see that there's a point here. And then if I continue this line, and then if I continue this line until they meet at a point, that's where they're going to meet right there. So I've got a point here, 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 and all the way down there. So I can kind of have a pretty good idea of what that curvature is when I go to intersect it. I'll be doing something like that. And it's this part of the curve right here that you want to pay attention to, because this curve is wedging right into this sloped plane. So that goes in there. This edge of the cone is completely visible. And that's the back of the hexagon there, there. And ideally, you'll be wanting to do these kind of drawings as much as you can, because this is the sort of exercise that really trains your brain to think three-dimensionally. It really changes how you see the world, and you start looking at things in terms of structure. Okay, so I've got that constructed. Now I've got to get the curvature of this base here. So then what I do is, following this central line here, I'm having a look at where it intersects with this edge, because this is the plane change. And now I've got these angles traveling this way, like that, okay? So you're just drawing that angle from that intersection right there, as carefully as you can. Okay, and then you're following that angle down until, and basically what you're doing is you're seeing where this angle hits this line here. This line is what cuts through the base. So this represents the bottom of the cone, right? And it intersects right there. So from that intersection, you draw a line traveling in perspective, like that. So that's where the base intersects into the hexagonal prism. It's got a point there, point there. Can really darken this part of the curve there. And we've also got an intersection here at the plane change, and one right there as well. So now I'm just going to go ahead and draw that curve in. And I've got a lot more information on intersections in my perspective drawing course. They're a real game changer, honestly, because you can just see things, you can see structure a lot more clearly when you do these kinds of sketches, and they're not really meant to look pretty. The point is that you're just getting them done. That is how you wedge the cone into the hexagonal prism. So give it a go and let me know how you guys get on with it.